out of that, the one which you are processing will be selected like this. You need to select from over here. So I have selected this request, and after selecting this request we can go to simulate the entry. So as you simulate, you can see the document has been generated, and you can have a preview of it, that how it will be reflected once it will be posted. So you can see the bank account is credited with $20,000, whereas the vendor account is debited with $20,000. The posting key is there, 29 for debiting the vendor, 50 for crediting the ledger account, and the C represents the special GL indicator. So this is how the document needs to be posted: the first line item, the second line item. So once it is okay with you, you can go and you can click onto the post button, and the document will be posted. So I am clicking onto the post, and now it will generate a document number that is there. 1500005 is the document which has been posted. So if you want to see the document, there are two options. Either you can directly move over here on the top, document display, and this document will be reflected to you as a display part over here, or else you can go to the transaction code FB03 if you remember, and you can put the details over here, the document number which you want to see, the company code, and the fiscal area. Enter on it, and you can see the details of the document. Even if you want to see how many documents have been posted on a particular date, or if you want to see multiple documents, you can go to this document list over here. So when you click onto the list, it will give you multiple options. So you can put the date over here, you can search the number of documents on the basis of posting date, on the basis of document number, on the basis of even document type. So if I want to see how many payments I have processed in today's date, so you can see that also. So 12/11/2014, and you can process it as over here, execute, and it will show you the number of documents. So you can see there are these number of documents which has been processed as per the posting date on 12/11/2014. These are the document numbers. So this is how you can use this FB03 tab for these purposes from document list. So you can search number of things on the basis of this. Now moving next, we have made the down payment. That means we have completed the second transaction over here. Now once you made the request, you made the down payment, that is the advance. So need to see that whether the advance shows in the ledger account or not. So we need to again go back to scroll down, and you need to take the noted item off, and you need to select the special GL transaction. Why? Because making a down payment is a special GL transaction as discussed in the beginning. So if I want to see only the down payment, I need to select on a special GL transaction. And once you select this and then you process the open item, it will show you the down payment made to the vendor account. So you can see the down payment has been reflected, 20,000 and 15,000. So today, just now, couple of minutes back, we did this particular document posting, that is 20,000, and the indicator has been reflected to you over here. See, and this column is termed as a special GL indicator. So even you can see your indicator is reflected over here for better understanding that what indicator, by which indicator you have made the advance payment. So once you made the down payment now to the vendor, now move to the next is the invoice booking. So in a normal scenario, in any practical scenario in a business, what happens is first the company gives a purchase order, issues a purchase order to the vendor. On the basis of the purchase order, the company makes down payment or advance payments to the vendor so that the vendor can get the order completed on time. So once you give the down payment, after that the vendor delivers you the goods. So when he delivers the goods, he also sends an invoice against the same. So now the next point comes up that suppose the invoice is of $50,000. So we made already a $20,000 advance to the vendor. Now a $50,000 of invoice need to be booked against the vendor in the system. So after that only the net payment of 30,000, that is $50,000 minus $20,000 is equal to $30,000 will be paid to the vendor account. So we have already made the advance payment. Now is the time we will be booking the vendor invoice of $50,000 for the vendor. So let's move and process the down invoice to the vendor. The transaction is FB60, you can see. So we'll move to post the transaction over here, that is FB60. Enter. You need to select the vendor over here, the invoice number. Suppose I take the invoice number of today, date 13, and you need to put the amount 15000. Suppose this is the down pay, this is the invoice amount, and then you can put the reference number over here. Suppose I take this, you need to take text, and over here you need to select the GL as per your transaction. You can have an expense GL selected, or you can have your inventory or purchase GL can be selected, which you can have a look from the list of your GL and you can select that. So it is the purchase account which I am selecting. Then I will be taking the amount over here, and suppose I take the transaction code also. So I take the transaction code as V8. V8 means now on the $50,000 of invoice, 8% of tax will be calculated. So if I take the tax code, I need to take the tax jurisdiction as well. So I have selected the tax jurisdiction as well. Now we'll be moving ahead. I need to take the business area. So you need to take care of these things what need to be selected as a compulsory part, and those things has to be selected. So once you select these things, now we'll be going to this calculate tax. So we need to click onto the calculate tax tab. So as you calculate on this, you can see the amount has changed over here. There is still some amount pending over here. It should always be 0 over here. Until it will be 0, it will keep on coming with a red light over here which says that it is an error and you cannot post a document. So I need to go back over here. I need to take this amount off, then enter on the screen. It will show you an updated, so you can see a pop-up box has came up over here, and the pop-up box says $35,000 advance to the capital vendor exist. That means we already had made an advance payment of around $35,000 to this particular vendor. So we'll adjust that 35,000 advance to the vendor once we will be processing the payment against this invoice. So this is just for the acknowledgement to get you in mind that this much amount of advance is already done. Now continue. So you can see when I took this amount off, the system updates the amount over here, that is 54,000. So this amount you need to copy and you need to paste it in the amount filled. So once you do that, it simply means that 8% of 50,000 is 4,000. So the total invoice comes up to be 50,000 plus tax, that is 50,000 plus 4,000 is equal to $54,000. So once you put this amount over here, now you need to enter from the keyboard. Once you enter, you can see that the balance has become 0 over here, and this green light over here has become, red light over here has become green light now, which says that everything is okay, there is no problem and we can proceed ahead. So once you have completed these all filling of details on the screen, we need to go to simulate so as to check that our transaction is very much correct. So clicking on to the simulate field, it gives you the entry and it says that the vendor is credited with $54,000. $50,000 is for purchase and $4,000 is for the taxes charged by the company. So once this is okay, you can go to this post option, click on it, and your invoice will be posted. So you can see the invoice has been posted and the number has been generated over here to you as an account number. So if I go back again to want to see the ledger account for my vendor, how can I have a look? I have to just fill the vendor code, and now mind it that if you want to select the normal item, you need to select it, because apart from any down payment, all other transactions are normal items. So I want to see my account balance always on the basis of normal item and special GL transactions. Apart from that, this noted or parked items are never taken into considerations. So we'll be taking these two line items only, and then we'll be executing the report. So once you execute this report, it shows you the statement balance on a screen. So it shows that there is already two down payments, 15,000 and 20,000. That is why the system was giving you a message of 35,000 down payment against the vendor. So that is it. The next is on just right now we posted one invoice with $54,000, which is reflected over here on the screen, and again you can see the down payment has been indicated with the special GL indicator, that is C, on these two parts. So these two are termed as down payment, and again you can see that these are actually payment by the bank, so their document type is with KZ, whereas for vendor invoice it always is KR. So we did the invoice posting. Now the second we will be moving up next is, after that we'll be making vendor payment. Now we'll be making the vendor payment for the remaining balance against the invoice and the down payment. So we'll move to F-53, executing the transaction F-53, enter. Now you need to fill the details again over here, 1311. You need to select the bank by which you want to process, business area, and over here you need to select the amount, how much you will be making the payment. So if you don't know the amount, you can take any amount and later on you can come back and you can correct the amount what actually to be paid. So right now I don't know the amount, so I will be taking only $1 over here. You can fill the text, final payment can be put over here. The next we can move is to fill the account. So over here account, we will be taking the vendor code. So you can see account type is K. K represents the vendor. So when there is K, that means the K account has to be selected, that is the vendor account has to be selected. Now the next thing is, important part is special GL indicator. So you want to take any special GL indicators over here? If you want, you can put over here. If you don't, you can skip it. So I took this screen, and now let's move up to process open item. Once you click on this process open item, over here only these three transactions or three line items are reflected, whereas in the ledger account there are 5 line items. Now these 2 line items are missing. Why? Because we have not considered the special GL indicator and we have not selected C as a special GL indicator. So those 2 line items has been segregated from the payment process. So right now what I will be doing is, I will be making payment. How? I need to select those down payments so as to make easier payments. How I can do that? So I will or you can do one more thing is, The total down payment is 20,000. 15,000 is equal to 35,000. So 54,000 minus 35,000 is equal to